Hey everyone, today I'm joined by Tukan Das. Tukan is a SaaS founder and expert in sales signals and buyer intent for agencies. He previously built and sold a company in the intent data space and now has co-founded Gia, which is a purpose-built tool for helping agency founders surface and pipeline opportunities through first and third-party buying signals. I wanted to have Tukan on because most agency owners are relying on referrals. You've heard me say that 1,000 times. And you shouldn't rely on guesswork to build pipeline. So Tukan has a smarter signal-based approach that works, and I wanted to get that shared with you. In this episode, we discuss how to detect when a lead is truly in market, the right way to follow up on anonymous website visits, ABM plays that actually work for agencies, and more. Lead gen is the hardest part of running an agency. For most, it's unpredictable, it's slow, and it's usually expensive. Gia flips that. It's the all-in-one growth platform that turns your existing relationships and client work into a steady pipeline. Gia automates lead gen, follow-up, and content, and it's all from the work you're already doing. You can check it out and get some free bonuses at getgia.ai/dynamic agency. And now, Tukan Das. It's easier than ever to start an agency, but it's only getting harder to stand out and keep it alive. Join me as we explore the strategies agencies are using today to secure a better tomorrow. This is Agency Forward. What's your go-to signal for pipeline-ready leads?
There's a few. The number one, and I would split it up into first party and third party signals. From a first party signal, that the strongest, most highest value signal is if a prospect visits my website, and if they specifically visit certain specific websites, maybe if I have a pricing page, or if they visited a book a demo page or a specific solutions page multiple times, that is one of the strongest signals. When I can confidently say, okay, this account is a good in market for me to add to my pipeline and follow up. So that's the number one thing. The number two would be is figuring out if, and this would be a third party signal, figuring out if the organization is growing. Because if they don't have budget, if they're not in growth mode, a lot of the times they don't need my services or software, and it's true for most businesses. So from a growth perspective, we look for, are they hiring for certain specific roles, or have they grown their, let's say if you're selling a MarTech solution, have they grown their marketing team by 20% in the last year? Yeah. So those would be my two signals from a first and third party, and that seem to have worked pretty well.
For something like measuring growth mode, so it's easy to find, or easier, I guess, not easy, but to find just job opportunities that they have in-house that they're hiring for. How can you go back and find just whether they have been hiring, like their growth rate of the company internally?
Yeah. So the public free one would be LinkedIn. LinkedIn, if you have LinkedIn Premium, I think you can see insights on the company, and you can filter, you can see their growth rate in the last little bit. Or you can further filter by roles within LinkedIn to see. So that would be one. And then there are specialized tools that have data that can give you indications that are they growing their certain team, or things like that.
Yeah. Some of the things that I'm looking at with my clients is like we have the internal triggers and the external triggers that we're trying to identify. Right. External hiring is a great external trigger. They just achieved the funding round and stuff. So like we know that's one. There are like those internal ones where it's like, we know they're going to our website. We're seeing the signal. The trigger internally might be someone got tasked on their team to figure out a solution for X. And so now that person's going out and doing the research. I guess, do you have a way for even like knowing those internal triggers? Like, do you kind of map back what signals do we need to see? And then how do we actually find those signals? Like you have a lot of intent experience. So you're the perfect person.
So there are, the way I look at it, like this, from an internal signal perspective, first party signals, 90% of maybe north of 90%, but at least 90% of people that visit your website don't fill out a form, book a demo, or the action you want to take.
So like 98%.
So is it 98? Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Way more.
Very high percentage. And now it's imperative for you to figure out who those 98% are. In my past company, we sold intent data. We were on the third party side. I've used tools like Kickfire that does that. And these days there are a lot of, they call themselves, like, the category is website de-anonymization. They can even go to the level of a person. I don't know the accuracy. I haven't tested. The one that come to mind is a good friend of mine, Warmly is one. I'm an advisor to them. So they do good company level, and they also do contact level. Then there is another company called Sift Data. Imran, Sift Data with a Y, S-Y. There's a company called Vector. These are tools that you can use to track which accounts, at least which account. They also go to the level of contacts are visiting your website. And to be honest, I would not go super sophisticated, like to do something super crazy. Literally, just look up any company that is an ICP fit. If they have visited your website more than one time in the last 30 days, that'd be a good group of company for me to reach out. And you can then go further, then go, okay, if they visited the website, but have they visited the pricing page or a lower funnel page in my website, or book a demo, but didn't fill out the form, maybe we go after them first. But a lot of the times, a lot of maybe agencies, depending, boutique agencies, they don't get that kind of traffic to further qualify. So I would just start with, if it's an ICP bid, if they visited my website more than once in the last little period, I will go follow up with them.
Yeah. So I'm using Warmly for my own site.
Okay, perfect.
And it's actually interesting because I had someone pop up recently. Showed up a couple times, and then I got a friend, Dan Englander, so anyone can go back and listen to my episode with him. But that same person popped up on his site looking at our podcast episode page.
Interesting.
And so he just sent that over. Hey, this person was looking at our podcast episode. Might be worth reaching out to him. But then 20 minutes later, I kicked off with a new client. And this was an advisor to that client's company who was just doing his research on me. So it's okay, look, perfect example of how we've seen someone who's actually doing the research. We can pull that data and see how this pans out. It was really interesting.
But here's one thing, Chris, I think that a lot of people miss out on, and this is a fine art. So these tools can tell you who a company is visiting. So that's great. That's a signal. But then comes the follow-up. The art here is not reaching out to Chris, or because you don't know, let's say you don't know who has visited. I just know someone from Dynamic Agency has visited my website, let's say, out of Boston. And I can make an assumption that it might be one or two of these people based on the roles. When I reach out to you, I shouldn't be saying, hey, saw you were checking out my website. Make it just that, it's a chanced coincidence that I happen to reach out to you. This is something true I have seen over and over again. People try to over-optimize that, and it actually comes across as creepy. People love to be known it's a chance coincidence. Yes, of course I was visiting. Don't call it out. Right. That'd be one of my recommendations.
No, I can second that. One, because it's probably really awkward when you're like, hey, I saw you were on my website.
Right.
And they're like, what?
What? Exactly.
But I have had someone, I saw them on my website. I connected with them on LinkedIn. I didn't send a note or anything. They accepted the connection and then said, weird, I was just on your website. And I'm like,
they will tell you. That's exactly. They will tell you. You are so spot on. Yeah.
So awesome. So I guess the question is how do you go about incorporating that intent data into your marketing strategy for how are we doing the outreach? Because so we want it to be so we're sending connection requests to people, but we might not even know that it's that person at the company. So is there, I don't know, have you seen success in finding I don't want to say a tailored message, but some way to actually find out who is the responsible party for making decisions just based on whatever signals you're getting?
Right. So this is a whole, there's a whole sequence of playbooks that you can follow from a signal. The first thing you need to know is, and let's say you you don't know the person. You don't know who is visited. You know the company. It's a company level signal. Let's just stick to that for a sec. The first thing you need to know is you need to have a very clear idea who your ICP is. And again, depending on the complexity of your sales, there can be 20 people in the buying group. But I'll give an example for Gia. We sell to founders of these boutique agencies. That's who we sell to. So if I know that someone from this agency came to my website, I would try to find out the founder. If they have multiple partners at that agency, I'll find their name. And maybe if they're a big enough agency, if they have a head of marketing or CMO. Those are the 3 buyer personas I follow. Mm-hmm. A playbook there is, the first thing to remember is intent is not a silver bullet. At least any of these third party or first party intent, it's not going to tell you Chris is going to buy from you. It's not an inbound lead. It gives you a notional direction on which accounts for you to focus on. It is really a prioritization mechanism. So let's say you have that prioritized list. Then the approach would be connect with all these ICP within those accounts on LinkedIn. Don't send a note. Literally just connect with them on LinkedIn. The next thing you can do is add those 2 or 3 people, maybe to a small relevant outbound sequence at the same time. And then while you have connected with these, send a connection request, send an outbound email sequence, see who are the people that have accepted your connection request A, or who have A, and who have visited your profile then on LinkedIn, because that's also a signal of intent. And the third thing is who is opening or engaging with your email. Then out of those 3 people, maybe it's 1 who's just resonating, or maybe 2. Those are the people then that you maybe send a DM if they haven't responded. It's like, hey, love to tell you more about what we are doing at Dynamic Agency, or love to tell you what we are doing at Gia. That'd be my approach. If you are doing more of a high tech, let's say you are selling an enterprise SaaS and you get that signal, then it becomes interesting. Then in addition to these things, these are foundational things that you need to do. In addition to that, then what you can do is, all right, if you have a lead scoring mechanism, that signal that whichever first party or third party, whatever you got, could be a scoring factor in your lead. You can add whatever score. It's like maybe I give 5 points, and every visit I give 5 more points. Or you can go further sophisticated, saying, hey, if they visited the pricing page, I give it 10 points. So you are using it in scoring without doing anything. And maybe you have something set up, and it's like, if the score hits this, then do that. So that's one thing. The other thing that we have seen people do it is, and again, this is not relevant in an agency world, at least in a small boutique agency world, but definitely in large enterprise SaaS, is then maybe you fire off an ads campaign where you provide air cover on those accounts. So your salespeople are DMing them or sending connection requests, sending email. Maybe build a custom audience list with those accounts on LinkedIn, Facebook, or maybe display ads, and then with that account, with that location, show them an ad at the same time. So those would be some strategies that we have seen people use with intent data. And you can go really sophisticated, or you can start small and do the basic fundamentals. Yeah, that'd be my approach.
No, that's great. I think even just in using like Gia right now, so getting the growth inbox is like one of my favorite features of this.
Thank you.
Where I don't, what frustrates me the most about most tools right now is they're looking for like, how can I take AI and just stop the human from having to do anything? What I love about the growth inbox is like it's surfacing these insights to be like, hey, you should go talk to this person about this. And now I get to actually go look at that person, have an actual interaction with them that's human, like me connecting with someone, and then come back, check it off. But it's filtering this to-do list for me that just saves so much time. Like I'm not on LinkedIn 20 times a day.
Yeah,
I'm doing it like twice a day, and just I check my growth inbox, and then I check for messages later in the day, see what's up, and like that's it. But everything's way more targeted.
So. If I may add one thing, Chris, the insight that we got with agencies is rarely have we seen agencies do mass scale marketing or outbound. Rarely. You will rarely see an agency or boutique agency use a tool like Salesloft or Outreach. it just doesn't work. It's a very trust-based, relationship-heavy. Mostly it's through referrals and through their network. The approach we took with Growth Inbox is because we are focused only on professional service firms. So we understand the pain points with GI. The Growth Inbox is sort of like a growth coach. Literally every morning, I'll tell you 5 to 10 people. I'm not going to dump on you saying, hey, there's 1,200 accounts. Go figure out who to reach out to. Within them, they did this. You're just not going to use it because you don't have a team of SDRs to divert them and blah, blah, blah. You're the busy founder. You want to keep building your pipeline proactively. Here is it, 5 people. I'm telling you why you should be following up. Why are they in your Growth Inbox? Did some research on them. Like the assistant did some research, found some talking points. And then it's up to you to go follow up and just connect with them, have a meaningful contact with them. So that's why we see the Growth Inbox works for this specific segment of agency owners.
Yeah. No, it's great. Even just within the week I've been using it, it's learnings for like when I say, yeah, we're going to ignore that one because it's someone I know who might actually be a competitor or something.
Right.
That person doesn't show up again, but it keeps getting more targeted. Now, when I go look at the contacts, it's like it's showing me more of the strong ICP fits and surfacing those. Yeah. And so I'm loving it. It's like AI done right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and I want to bring that up just as we're looking at the data, right? The intent data, and knowing it's like, if I know, hey, this person just engaged with my competition, and which is not something that I can look at from my website with a lot of other tools. But if I know, my 5 competitors on LinkedIn, and I can see that someone who's a strong ICP fit just engaged with them, I can go look at that post, see what they commented. And then I know this person might actually be looking for a solution, not because they know who I am, but because they know who my competitors are. Right. I think that goes underappreciated with a lot of marketing, where it's like someone just might not know you exist. And so by putting just connecting with them, right? So they realize,
100%.
Yeah, it's someone else. It's great opportunity.
Thank you.
So yeah, we got to get more. I think more agencies need to be doing things like this. Move on to different points, because now I just feel like I'm gushing on Gia because I actually really like this tool.
Thank you.
What is a mistake that you see with agencies like in scoring leads, or even just interpreting signals?
Yeah. I don't know if it's an agency specific problem, Chris, but what I've seen is, first of all, a lot of agencies don't do lead scoring. A lot of, this is...
I don't know they have enough leads to do lead scoring.
Exactly. So, right. But one of the mistakes that we have seen people that are doing scoring, meaning they have a lot of leads coming in and they want to prioritize their outreach or efforts reaching out to them, is one of the big mistakes we have seen is they basically ignore the lower scored leads. They would, if they have, again, it's a problem of abundance. Let's say they have a lot of leads. They're like, my sales team doesn't even follow up with anyone that hasn't made the cut based on whatever mechanism. And I think that is probably one of the biggest mistakes you can make. I think the big opportunity is, if you are in a fortunate position of getting a lot of top of funnel demand where people are coming in, treat every single inbound lead as gold, as absolute gold. Obviously prioritize your highest ICP fit, highest intent, highest scored leads, and then follow up, do everything. But also constantly have a motion or have maybe one person or something to do a one-to-one touch with those leads that are just a little bit out of your ICP fit, or may not have made that, there's the people score leads by grade A, B, C. Maybe they're your grade B leads. Do not let them sit, because one of your competitors is probably reaching out to them and closing them while you are waiting for this magic dust of lead scoring to bubble up to the top. I was talking to, and this is not an agency, but I just give an example. I was talking to a founder of a SaaS company, and they get 800 inbound leads a week, right? And what he told me is, my sales team, the biggest screw up that their sales team has done is they have not followed up with more than 80% of the leads because they just never fit the score. And their conversion from inbound lead or a free trial to paid has dropped to 1%. It's like, my sales team is he actually used the term lazy. They're just not doing it. I don't think it's just on the sales, but it's a process thing.
Mm.
I think there's a big opportunity there. So that's one mistake that I've seen people do.
Yeah, you can definitely see that for agencies. So it's like they're going to engage with probably every lead because they're just so many. Well, there's so few leads, and like there's so many agencies who need that. Like if someone breathes in their direction, it's like, oh, let me go try selling to them. I think the issue is that they don't necessarily know how to sell to them. They're doing a lot of discovery, custom scoping, stuff like that. But I feel like that's something we can also solve with signals by knowing what is someone looking at, like what, 100%. Depending on what type of signal we're getting, we know how to approach a sales conversation.
The other insight that I have gotten is, especially in a services world, right? Agencies. One interesting is if you get an inbound lead, the quickest way to get trust on an inbound lead is if you can refer a work that you have done in their vertical, or if you have done work with someone that this connection might be exposed to. Right. If you can do that enrichment, if you have a system that can enrich that and you lead with that, I think that has a massive, massive win. Like immediately you get that trust because people do anytime, like shocking how many times I've seen in GIA is like someone using us or just booked a demo and then reached out to a customer or someone that we didn't think that they know each other, but they're like, hey, I'm checking this out. Do you know them? Yeah. So if you in the sales process, like, oh, do you know Chris? We actually work with them. Or, hey, we worked with a client exactly in your vertical. This is what we did. If you can make that social trust, that connection-based sales process, I think immediately the guards drop and then you have a leg up compared to anyone else. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. So something that I do see with agencies is because they have so few leads, a lot of them seem to default to thinking like just cold outreach, doing like the volume play is going to be the answer. Whereas I'm a pretty strong believer that's not the play for agencies because we're in consultants, anyone, because we're in this trust game, right? Like we're not just selling a product, we're selling a service. And so we need to be able to show them that we are trusting of delivering on what we promise. So in that case, ABM is probably a much better play, for those types of audiences. But there is I think some confusion over like what is just marketing and what is ABM, and where is ABM like just crossing into like someone doing sales, like biz dev on that side. How would you approach ABM for an agency to kind of get the most bang for their buck?
I think ABM is just marketing. It's just marketing where you don't have just an ICP list. You actually have a target list, a defined list of accounts that you are going after. I think depending on your deal size and how big is your target list, ABM can work in many ways. You can do one-to-one, you can do one-to-few, one-to-many. Like these are the cliche things. I mean, I'll give examples of how ABM done right, I have seen work very well. Is direct mail actually works very well when you are trying to do an ABM campaign. And one of the best ones I've heard the talk at SaaSter from Brex, which is a company that targets, it's not an agency play, but they target B2B tech companies. And one of the direct mails campaign that they ran was they had a list of accounts that they wanted to close. And they didn't come in inbound. Like that was their wish target list. And the ABM play that they did was they literally sent them a personalized box with a champagne. I think they spent $250 a champagne. Like that was their high value carved with their name. They sent it to them and they go, if you like it, take a picture and share on your LinkedIn. We will give you some extra credits or something. So it did two things. The CRO was telling the story. It did two things with that ABM campaign. Was one, they booked a ton of demos because you're standing out. When you talk about trust and cold, everyone is hitting your inbox. Everyone. This is something unique. They're like, hey, you don't have to take a demo for this bottle of or this gift. I just wanted to thank you for whatever you just thought you're doing cool stuff. And so a lot of people are like, oh, you're standing out. Definitely, I'm going to check you out. Maybe I'll look at them, high likelihood. But the second genius play they did was take a picture, share with your network. So they got so much earned media for free. It was the best performing campaign. I think it works in agency world too. Yeah. If you want to, let's say you are servicing, I'm just making this up. Let's say you're servicing Series A companies in the eastern part of US. So literally take a look at all the companies from a list like Crunchbase or something, or even Google, that has raised an A round in the last 6 months. You're probably going to get at least 20 companies, at least in the Boston, Massachusetts area. Send them a hyper-personalized, maybe a gift, and say, hey, congratulations. We help other Series A companies do their demand gen or SEO or whatever. You send that message, and that's it. People have sent boxes of cookies or things like that. I think ABM, direct mail, or direct marketing, direct mail, that I think works really well from an ABM perspective. That's what I have seen work.
Yeah, I can't remember who to credit with this, but someone recently gave me the line, their inbox is full, but their mailbox is empty. And we actually use that to, like, that inspired. I got a client who we're about to launch a direct mail campaign right now to see if this this works. So I'll report back on future episodes for that part. But I get similar to like direct mail. What are some of the other, like, are there any tactics you've seen where, like, I get a little timid when talking tactics on the show, because everybody loves a shiny tactic but they're not, usually they're disconnected from the greater strategy. But here we've talked the strategy. It's like, let's find the signals. Like, we know what we're pushing people to. Now we know when to reach out. It's just like, what are some of those tactics to reach out? Is there anything else you've seen from clients that's just like, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Like, that's a pretty interesting idea.
I mean, at this point, every idea that you can think of, someone has tried. But one thing in an agency world that has worked very well is, and I've made this post, like, in software companies, you have a free trial. What is the equivalent of a free trial in an agency, right? It's very difficult in a services business to give a free trial. Typically, people do free audits, but that take up a lot of time. It just doesn't scale very well. But let's say you're doing an ABM, hyper-focused. Let's say you have 20 companies that you're going after. You really want to close some of them or create pipeline from them. An interesting tactic is reaching out to the decision makers, and without even asking them, saying, no, can I do an SEO audit for your website? Do something, if you can, a low weight, but that is insightful, and give it to them. It's like, hey, this is what I did. Just thought it'll be useful, and just stop. The chances of that converting into a deal is astronomically high. I'll give you an example. There's this kid, he does copywriting or LinkedIn ghostwriting for other founders. He literally reached out to me. He's like, hey, I do this. I work with other venture-backed companies. Here is some comments that I have found from your posts. These are some insights. Would you be open to, if I sent you 2 drafts based on your audience that I think would be relevant? There's literally nothing for me to say no. I'm like, sure. And he sent those a Google Doc. He probably used some kind of ChatGPT or something to help with it. That's totally fine. But those were pretty high quality drafts he sent. I'm like, damn, that's good. He's like, and then I stopped following up. I forgot. Then he followed. He's like, hey, did you get a chance to review those? I'm like, you know what? He has done work. Let me review. They were good. And he's like, can we get on a call? We got on a call. We had a deal on the table. So I think that if you can do that kind of thing, that's a tactic that would work every time. But again, it's how do you scale it? So that's why it doesn't work one to many. But if you have a hyper-focused target list, anything that you can do, low effort, a free trial without asking them, just saying, hey, this is what I did for you, would work very, very well.
Yeah, I can second that. And I think this is where having a targeted list, knowing the signals and stuff is super important, because I've had a client before. They tried that kind of on their own, but they were just hitting anyone who fit they thought fit their ICP.
No.
But if you look at like the 5% rule, right? 95% of the market is not currently looking for a solution. So like those people don't care. Whatever you got right now, they got other priorities. But if we can figure out who those 5% are, like with our
100%.
targeted list, yeah, they probably want it.
The stat that I always used to say when I was doing LeadSift and then at IDG was between 3 to 5% of your target market, doesn't matter what product or service, is actively looking for a solution. 40% are problem aware. They're not looking. They know they need a marketer. They know they need an SEO. They know they need an IT, whatever. But they're problem aware. And the other 55% don't even care. They just bought a solution. They don't have the problem. They don't have budget or whatever it is. So you need to figure out who that 3% are and put in a lot of effort. It's very hard. The other 40% you need to be staying on top of mind for them. And the other thing that I want to add, this is all my previous life things, insights coming back to me while we're chatting, is just because an account is on your ABM list doesn't mean they're in market. You need to understand that. A lot of the times ABM lists come from, I have seen sales, again, this is in software companies, agencies are different. Sales team coming up with a wish list saying, here's a list of accounts I want to close. Just because you want to close that lighthouse customer doesn't mean they need to be in your life. They just probably bought one of your biggest competitors' subscription for the next 3 years. Doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter what your gifting strategy is. They're not going to convert. So how you curate your ABM list goes. And that's why I think using signals, a combination of signals, whatever signals you're using, and some high profile ICP definition to come up with the ABM list is the best play. And then executing whatever you do.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Tukan, this has been great. A lot of great,
Thank you.
Not only we hit the strategy, but we got some tactics in there too. As we're winding down here, I asked 2 questions to all guests. What book you recommend every agency owner should read?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I don't know if it's specifically for an agency owner, Chris, but for a founder. I think every agency owner is an entrepreneur, right? Like you're starting a services business. I think this might be, people might have mentioned this. I would say the book by Ben Horowitz, Hard Thing About Hard Things.
Yeah.
I think you have that.
On my
there
shelf.
You go. It's probably back in my shelf there too. I think that would be one book that gives real no BS talk about how to run a business and the real struggles of it. And again, I think the founder struggles are real across whether you're running a venture-backed startup or it's different scale, but there's a lot of those. So I think that would be the one book that immediately comes to my mind to recommend.
Yeah. Definitely a good one. I actually don't know that anyone's mentioned that book on the podcast yet. We're 80 something episodes deep. So
there you go.
But yeah, definitely a good one. I got it right back here. Last questions. Where can people find you?
Yeah. The best place to find me is on LinkedIn. I'm super active on LinkedIn. I mean, we use LinkedIn as a channel for thought leadership, connecting with the audience. We sell into agencies. So our target market is there. So LinkedIn would be the best place. Look up Tukan Das to find, and then email. But LinkedIn would be the best place for people to find me and connect. Love to chat.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, thanks for joining. This was great.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
That's the show, everyone. You can leave a rating and review, or you can do something that benefits you. Click the link in the show notes to subscribe to Agency Forward on Substack. You'll get weekly content, resources, and links from around the internet to help you drive your agency forward.